All right. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone out there in the world who's tuning in, rather, whether it is through Facebook or it is through YouTube. This is Nancy Rebecca, and today I'm going to be talking about the frequency forecast. So I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes since this is live as of today. And yeah, giving everybody an opportunity to tune in. I was kind of looking, it's like, what is behind me here? Hi, good morning, Annette. Hi, come on in. Where are you calling in from? What are you drinking this morning? I'm having coffee. I have a little bit of a different mug today that was given to me by a friend from Poland. And so I'm just kind of thinking about her this morning as she's going through some things in her life and just letting her know I'm sending out lots of love and support. So, hello, Rebecca. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Wilma. Hello, Shauna. Hello, Yvonne and Dawn. So, today I'm talking about the June frequency forecast. I kind of tune in and I look at the energies every single month at the beginning of the month. And I began doing this for myself quite a few years ago. I think because I was getting a little tired of kind of being kind of blindsided or having my feet kicked out from underneath me, that I didn't see things kind of coming. And so I just started kind of sitting in meditation, and you all can do this. And you just kind of tune in, even though here, as of this recording, it's in May 26th, but I would sit and just kind of think about, kind of tune in and intend to be in the energy frequency of June. And then I would just go through the days, June 1st, June 2nd. I would kind of get a sense about how each day might potentially feel in the upcoming future. So then I decided, or was guided, to kind of bring that at a bigger level, to kind of let you all know kind of what I'm picking up. So it doesn't mean that this is what's going to happen for you. It doesn't mean that you can set your watch to it and it can be absolutely accurate. I'm just sharing my own personal kind of senses, intuition, psychic ability, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. So hi, Heather from Kelowna, and Elaine, having coffee. So nice to see you all this morning from Auburn, drinking water. All right, I wrote up a lot about June, but I want to speak first after I have a sip of coffee. First, I want to acknowledge the tragedy that happened in Texas and the shooting and the violence. And I have to tell you, um, it doesn't matter how many dimensions I have the ability to kind of look at the situation. The bottom line is, at the physical level, at the 3D level of which we are all living, it still hurts like heck. It still is devastating. It still is heartbreaking. It still is, for me, I felt numb, like all of a sudden just something had just ripped inside of me. I felt kind of immobile. Let me just put it that way, immobile. I couldn't even hardly speak, which is pretty much my nature when I'm feeling stressed, because I'm an internal processor. So I really go deep, and I could feel that it was taking me deep. Now, I want to talk a little bit about that in relationship to frequencies. What I can tell you is, when I just looked at the energy of that, it looked almost like, now, a nuclear bomb is a little bit of an exaggeration. But I think, it was kind of like this bomb went off. It was just like this strike of violence hit that area so hard that it drove and it's kind of split the earth energy like 100 feet down. It's just like something that would just leave this gigantic crater this gigantic hole. And then those waves would move out through the world. And this event has touched everyone in the world. And so you can feel the impact within your own energy field, even if you do live 5,000 miles away from where that event happened. Now, definitely that area will need to repair, but right at this time, it is inspiring growth and change. It is inspiring expressions of grief and loss. So those energies are doing the work, and there's a lot of energies that are coming in from the divine world that are really trying to soothe and to help us all. So when I talk about frequencies, what I realized was when I was asking my own spirit, how do I understand this? How do I wrap my mind around this? How does this keep happening? And my spirit said, don't go there right now. Just sit with your own feelings. So as you know, for those who've been kind of following my talks for a long time, I'm always talking about spiritual growth, but spiritual growth cannot happen if you leave your body behind. So right now, I would just encourage you to just soothe your body, just like a child would, a parent would soothe a child who's very upset about something that just happened. That you would just kind of take time to maybe let your child crawl up into your lap and you want to kind of hold your child. It would be the same for you, that it's like, yeah, this is rough. Let me comfort you right now. What do you need to be comforted? And so then in the frequency of that energy, of that violent, striking energy, that explosive energy and frequency and vibe, it's like, then once you have that, you want to take it in, you want to kind of sit with it as long as it feels, as long as your body needs to sit with it. But I highly encourage that you don't live there, that you don't just let it devastate you so much that you cannot function. And I always say, kind of give yourself just a couple of days or 3 days, especially if you're living at a distance. Like for me, I didn't personally suffer that loss, but at our global level of consciousness, we definitely have suffered an enormous loss, but not at the level that a parent would or a family would with teachers. And then once you do that, then you want to kind of transform that. And then in what ways can you start to begin to heal? Maybe you can light a candle for them in Texas. Maybe you can send out love and support. Maybe you can express anger and say, this is not okay, because anger is not a low frequency. Anger is a high frequency. It helps burn through things. So just want to say, give yourself a few days and then move back into a place where you're functional so that you can be in a place of action. So someone wrote, I don't have the name, comforted with donuts. It was like, yeah, I mean, what is your style of comforting? So let me just talk about the June frequency forecast. Now, if you've been following the forecast, it doesn't have to be my forecast. It could be astrology. It could be tarot card readers. They've all been noticing, all of the sensitives. Even if you don't do any of that stuff, you're sensitive enough to know. Kind of talked about March, April, May was going to be rough. For people like me, I want to be able to share with you that it's going to be happy, happy, joy, joy, because when we're doing spiritual work, that's kind of what we wish for, or that's what anybody wishes for. But we knew that it was going to be a rough ride. You all were told there were going to be highs and lows, and it was going to be rough. And that really kind of started in February when Russia invaded Ukraine. So the June frequency forecast showed me the image of a lion and a lamb as the symbolic representation of the energies that you can expect to experience in this month of May. I hear that the lamb is the lion and the lion is the lamb. You all have the ability to express both sides of the two sides of yourself with those ripe opportunities to really come into balance with your personality expression. Now, put personality in big, bold lights, because you have energies of emotions and creativity and sexuality and male energy, which is much more active, proactive, and female energy, which is much more intuitive and much more receptive. So we all have all of those abilities to express, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more. But personality and how you express your soul's light through all aspects of your life is what this June is about, and what June is challenging you to do. So I'll go a little bit more. So to try to find a happy balance between the two, this is going to require that you have some internal serious self-inquiry and taking responsibility for your own behaviors, accepting all aspects of who you are without judgment. Who you are without judgment. Then taking it a bit further, not having judgment towards others. It's like, oh, that's how they express. That's their personality. That's who they are. So we're all starting to find our own kind of unique way, while at the same time being in relationship with others. We don't want to turn everybody, if you're rainbow, you want everybody to be rainbow and moving together. What do we usually say in the spiritual world? I like hanging out with like-minded people. That's great. But there are more aspects of you than just that one like-minded self. Lots of aspects of yourself. So June is going to really challenge you to get out there and mix with all kinds of people, the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right. Remember, this is the year of the healer. It's also the year of what has been hidden will be revealed, dissolving illusion, finding truth, and injustices, really illuminating, pushing injustices to the surface. So what just happened? Wow, is this really pushing people even further than we've ever gone before? And we're seeing it play out immediately, where before we were numb for a long time, lots of immediate calls to justice. So if we bring things into justice, then we can heal. All right, there are some things, you've heard me say this before, that cannot be healed by the spiritual world, cannot just be healed by angels. Remember when often the spirit world will say, you broke it, you fix it. You broke it, you fix it. And again, not from a admonishing, kind of punishing way. It's just saying, look, if at the human level, if you broke this or you didn't tend to this in a healthy way, then we can help you, but it's going to require a human hand involved in this. So it's just like what happened in Texas. It's going to require human voices, a human hand, human action to start to shift things and turn things around. History repeats itself. So there's an energetic imprint that is left from everything. So what happened in Texas, remember I said, I just saw that explosion that goes down 100 feet into the earth. That's an energetic imprint. That energetic imprint can remain on that spot for thousands of years to come. And so anybody who crosses through that piece of land will continue to feel that level of violence. And even like trees can't grow in that, birds can't sing in that. You'll see animals that will avoid areas like that. So as a healer, you can begin to help healing those areas that hold those levels of, let's say, destruction. So it's just like in Ukraine, if you look at the Ukrainian history, I think this is the third or fourth cycle that it's gone through in the last couple of 100 years with specifically Russia. So it's like, all right, here comes history again. It's cycling around. And it's like the divine is saying, all right, here's your opportunity again. Can you do something different? And we just have to make one choice that's different. And it leads to a cascade of frequency events that's going to uplift and bring healing. So for us here in the US, if you look at any of our politicians, kind of follow the history. Yep, this has happened the last couple of 100 years. It has happened over and over and over again. And so we're just always given an opportunity to do something different. How about you in your own life? Maybe you choose, a partner, the same type of partner. Maybe you find yourself in the same situation at work where you're not speaking up for yourself. And so every time it's like your spirit's going to bring through that cycle to give you an opportunity to stand up and do something different. Remember to trigger a cascading event of healing. Oh, goodness. All right. June is the time where you're going to, you might experience a personality expression opposite of the normal way that you express. As society is faced with looking at our dark collective underbelly, it's like that's coming to the surface, and we're able to really look at all aspects of ourselves. Remember, I said those cycles of history are coming around, even your own history. So maybe you were nice, and even though somebody was being brutal or abusive to you, and you still were nice, and then that cycle is going to come around until the next time you speak up, stand up for yourself, you change that cycle. So there is a balance coming into how you express your personality. So for me, my personality was always to kind of go around the edges of any conversation. I never just kind of jumped in with my both feet right in the center in a very direct way. And I will say at the age of 63 years old, I'm starting to visit that place in the middle. I'm starting to get more direct. Does it surprise the people around me? Yeah. Do they like it? Not so much. Do I like it? Not so much either. But what I like about it is it gets right to the point and we can move forward. Gets right to the point, we can move forward. All right. So the entire world is seeing this play out in the conflict between Russia and the Ukraine. This in turn shifts within each of us that deep unconsciousness to rise to the surface. So this is where I want to explain a pattern I noticed when I was a hospice nurse. Now, I didn't notice this at first. It was the families of my patients that I had that noticed this. So this is the pattern over 8 years. And once I saw it, I couldn't stop seeing it. And it happened over and over and over again. And I'm not saying this is going to happen for every single family, but the percentage was pretty high, like 65 to 70% of patients this happened to. So I would experience this sweet, woman or sweet man that had been the kindest person on the face of the planet. Everybody loved them. Hundreds of people wanted to come visit them and talk to them and sit at their bedside. And as they were kind of cycling through the different phases of letting go of their body, because remember, the spirit doesn't die. As they got closer, usually within 3 to 4 weeks of taking their last breath, that really nice, sweet person would start having kind of had this buildup of resentments their whole life. They've been nice their whole life, and now suddenly all these resentments are coming up to be cleared. Because what I've noticed as a hospice nurse, when you go to cross over, you got to clear. There's a lot of opportunity that your spirit takes to really clear a lot of things, to leave it behind, not carry it with you into the spirit world. And so what I noticed that those that were very nice, they could start swearing like truck drivers. They'd even the kids that they thought were the most amazing people in the world, they start swearing at them. They start, dressing them down. They start telling them what they really thought all these years that they never said. And it was very disturbing to the family. It's like, what's happened to my mom or what's happened to my dad? Like, I don't understand this. And the flip side of that, the same would happen if the person had been kind of mean, malicious, um, uh, dictatorial in their way that they raise their kids and follow the rules and really harsh. That suddenly then towards the end, that harshness would go away and this super sweet, kind personality expression would come to the surface. And so I remember once this one adult son, he was probably in his 50s. And he calls me and he's like, I don't even know what to do with this. I mean, none of us kids have wanted to come around dad our whole life because he's just brutal. And now all of a sudden and he didn't believe in God. And all of a sudden he's telling me he's seeing angels and he loves me and he wants me to come over so he can give me a hug, and he's kissing my cheek. He goes, I don't know how to handle this. So what I'm saying is, remember that cycle of your personality is going to come around. And this June, this is where it's coming around a lot, providing you with the opportunity to express differently than you expressed before so that you can bring it into balance. This is huge in June. All right. All right. I already said all that. So this month you are being moved to know yourself in a larger way. You're being encouraged by your own spirit to express with crystal clear, clean clarity the fullness of your personality, and then move on. How many of you will express with directness, express with clarity, express a boundary, and then afterwards go, oh, maybe that was a bit harsh. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. They're kind of moping around. They're sad. I could have probably done this in a different way. It's like spirit is like, express and move on. Express and move on. So the lion is the lamb and the lamb is the lion. Are there times in your life where you should respond like a lion, but you're acting like a lamb? Are there times in your life when you're called to show up like a lamb, but you're always coming on strong like a lion? So again, it's all about bringing your soul's personality down into the body and expressing all aspects of who you are unapologetically, but clean and clear, not throwing energy, not being a bully, but just be clean and clear. This is what I'm feeling called to express right now. Spirit also said, this is June is starting this enormous time where leaders are being born, that you may be quiet, you may be reserved, and then suddenly remember that other part of your personality is being called to step up and be a strong leader in society. And if you think about President Zelensky in Ukraine, if you go and read about his history and how he even made it to the president, I mean, his wife heard it announced on social media that he was running for president. She called him and said, I just saw that you're running for president. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Remember, it was just that part of his personality expressed. Next thing you know, he's on this bullet train to becoming the president. And then suddenly Russia is invading Ukraine. And he is showing us with no experience other than, I mean, he is a really smart guy, don't get me wrong. But he started expressing that really strong leadership that people could hear and that people want to follow him to the ends of the earth. And he's showing all the leaders in the world how it can be done. This is what's happening for you and you and you and you and you and you. Lots of leaders are being born at this time. So I talked about also, I just honorable mention, mentally the world, people are frozen, unable to make decisions right now. We feel emotionally overwhelmed. We feel physically stuck in old patterns. We feel blind to new possibilities. I will tell you, when this event happened in Texas 2 days ago, I couldn't even access my intuition. I couldn't even access my heart. I loved it. I saw someone did a video yesterday live, and they just said, you know, when events like this happen, I just want to move energy. And so this is how I move energy. And she was doing tarot card readings. And I just loved it, because if you're any of my students, you'll know, or any of my friends, I'll say, let's just move some energy here and let's talk later. So it's when that energy gets stuck, you want to move it however you are called to move it, whether it's lighting a candle or going for a walk or calling a friend. So, like a team member who sits on the bench most of the game, and suddenly there's an opening and you're able to move through it and take the lead and win the game for the team, don't be surprised if that's you. Don't be surprised if that's you. And what I mean by that is you have to kind of feel it's like, I need to express the fullness of who I am. So just for specific dates, because I know we're running out of time here, March, April, and May was a much more visceral experience. Now, we just had another opportunity to feel viscerally what's happening on the earth. In June, there are new energies coming in that began yesterday, May 25th. It's like this golden amber elixir, a little bit thicker than water, not as thick as honey, started coming in and just started moving through the world. This honey-like kind of frequency, I'm going to call it a frequency. It's a soothing, healing, spiritual frequency. It's going to really be potent up through the 11th of June. Around the 12th, that elixir is going to remain, but there's going to be a golden healing elixir that's going to come through that's very loving, unconditional loving, very expressive. I'm not talking about human love, I'm talking about divine love that's going to add to that elixir. And then starting around the 12th, that was the gold. Starting on June, on the solstice, the 21st, is going to be more of this silvery diamond-like frequency. So we've got this amber, gold, amber honey type frequency. Then we have the gold, then we have the silver and diamond. So we're really being activated at a DNA level to be able to raise our 3D physical realm body to a higher frequency so we can bring more of our frequency in. All right, we're going to do a 5-minute meditation. So I definitely will finish writing this up as a blog, and so you can read more about that when I release that on my mailing list. So what we're going to do in this meditation, we're going to really bring in some of that elixir. We're going to ground, we're going to bring in that golden amber elixir that's very, very healing. And then we're going to bring it down in our solar plexus, because what I'm noticing is our power center is beginning to open. That's a very leadership chakra. It's about your spirit coming down into your third chakra, illuminating through all aspects of your life, expressing 360 degrees. So we're just going to play with that in these next 5 to 7 minutes. I know some of you might have to go to work, so you can pick up this later in the recording. Okay? Go ahead and close your eyes and turn within. Ask your body how it's feeling right now. Is your body feeling sad about the state of the world? Are you feeling some grief? Do you have some old stuff that came up? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling disconnected? Ask your body, are you feeling disconnected right now? Are you feeling hopeless, or are you feeling hopeful? Is your body feeling a rise within you to express? And again, you don't have to literally express to other people. You're going to do in this meditation, you're going to express the frequency of your being. Accept all feelings from your body without having to try to micromanage it. All right, now connect in with your spirit, your soul that's helping you navigate this world right now. It's almost like your spirit's going to guide you through the landmines of life. So really thank your spirit for all the ways your spirit shows up for you and continues to lead and guide you. in your own healing and the healing of our communities and the healing of our world and universe. Let's start with a little groundedness. So ask your spirit to help provide an image for you. It could be a tree with roots. It could be a waterfall. It could be crystals or mountains. It could be dolphins or whales. That could be a grounding image for you. It could be eagles, chickadee birds. It could be worms or spiders. It could be rainbows. Whatever comes up for you to use, express that image of grounding by connecting it around the area of the navel and the hips, and then moving it all the way through the layers of the earth, and then really anchor and connect to the magnetic core of the earth. See, there's a couple of you out there listening in having a little trouble grounding. And if it's all right for me to help you with your grounding, just kind of flash your light a little bit. All right, thank you for permission. Now, I want you to imagine that kind of golden honey, light amber frequency. Remember, I said it's not as thick as honey, but it's thicker than water. So you're going to imagine, but it's pure elixir energy. So allow it to come down from the cosmos, flowing all the way down through the layers of your crown chakra, and then allow it to flow through the top of your head. This is a very soothing, very healing elixir to make it just a little bit easier for you to live in this body at this time. You can let it flow through your sixth chakra, your fifth, fourth, third, second, first, right down through the crown. You can let it fill your arms, your legs, your belly, your back, your feet, your hands. Let's just do a little extra around the back of the neck and the shoulders and the back. Let it flow and fill up your heart chakra. Let it flow down through your diaphragm and fill up your solar plexus as it soothes, balances, and harmonizes you with the expressive frequencies that are unique to your personality. Wonderful. Bring it on down into your second chakra, your lower belly, which is below the navel area. It's your emotional chakra. Let that beautiful, you know how honey, when it's being poured out of the pot, the sun is shining through it, and it's just stunning. That's what this is. It's just this stunning elixir of light, but it's very soothing. Right into your belly, right into the area of your hips, your root chakra, right down your legs, and then let it flow all the way down your grounding. Nice, nice. All right, after we finish this live call, you're very welcome to go back and sit and just continue to allow this very soothing elixir to come through, knowing that it's going to continue to come through every day through about June 11th. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Notice what you notice, sense what you sense, and what's your intuition expressing to you this morning. So someone asked, does it work if I express about it but not to the person directly? Well, remember, you haven't moved on, you haven't expressed and moved on. If you do, I'm going to say, let's say you feel like talking to other people about it to process it, but absolutely, you can talk to other people, say, I need to process this. Would you be my witness? Would you be my sounding board? But if it goes on 2 or 3 days afterwards, then you want to just kind of move on. Now, I'm not talking about situations that are hurtful and harmful that you may want to talk to a therapist about, or see a healer about. So I'm not talking about those situations. I'm just talking about normal day-to-day situations. So this is the frequency forecast of expressing your personality. Have fun with it. There's aspects of your personality that I know you would love to express. Like singing. Maybe you don't have a good voice, but who gives a rip? It's like, just sing. Maybe you like to dance, but you've got 2 left feet. Who cares? Just express yourself. If you feel like laughing when it's a quiet library, then laugh. Anyway, just to remind you, we still have openings for June 21st, the summer solstice. Remember, that's where that silver and diamond energy is going to kind of open up this portal. We're going to be flooded with diamond and silver energy. It's really going to raise our frequency. So I put the link here for you to be able to purchase your tickets. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Have a good June and have a good time really rediscovering yourself to bring your personality expression into balance so that you're not having to do it under pressure at the end of your life. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week on Thursday.